Hello everyone, my name is Mike, and today I would like to talk about a common issue that you may encounter when you will try to run your app on the new Apple Silicon with an old binary dependency. It's all good when you have a source code, but when you have only a binary dependency, it's not that simple, but still possible. Let's get started. First of all, thanks to Bogo for writing this amazing article. I will put the link into the description. He wrote this article about hacking native ARM64 binaries, and I got all of the knowledge from him. Okay, but what's going on with those binary dependencies? You probably have seen this error before when you were trying to build for architecture x86. But this one, as you can see, we are trying to build for iOS simulator, but linking object file built for iOS. What does this mean? So we are basically already have the ARM64 because the ARM64 is the same as the iOS have, but we are trying to build for iOS simulator. The issue here is when you are trying to build for iOS simulator, the information about this is not kept inside the build file, it's kept inside the binary itself. So we basically need to hack this in order to actually get this information straight. What I have here is a simple Google Maps setup. So it is like the basic project. As you can see, the Google Maps for the Xcode 12, they are not supported yet. You need to add the ARM64 for the exclude architectures. So in order to actually run the iOS simulator. So it's not there yet, but we can hack this. So basically what I did is I installed manually the SDK. You need to download the SDK, unpack, add this to the Xcode, create a sample iOS project. So this is very, very simple stuff. You need to add this, the frameworks to your project. Also, you need to add additional binary dependencies. You can check the list here. What I found out is that you don't need all of those. You basically need the core data, core telephony, a couple of those additional items in order to actually make it work. It's very, very simple. You also don't forget to add this bundle, and also don't forget to not copy it. So you need to be not selected. And then when you will try to run this for iOS 12, as you could see before, there's an issue, it cannot run. But as you can tell, for the old one, the iOS 13.7, this one still runs on the x86. So it will run. You can check. It will build. Of course, you need to also add the API key. And I added this as an environment variable. So in order to make it work, you need to put your API key here. Okay, let's run this for the iOS 13.7, which is the old x86 architecture. This is a very basic setup. It's just displaying the map. You can also find how to create API keys on this website. I will put all of the links in the description. So what can we do about this? There's this app called Vtool from Apple, which will help. Let's see what's inside the Google framework. You can see that there are the Mako objects, which means that this is the dynamic framework. If you would like to check your binary framework and you will see this current AR archive, that means that this is an archive and it's not a dynamic framework. I will cover static frameworks in the next video. Now let's see what's inside the Google's Map binary framework using the Vtool. This command means that this has been built for iOS with the minimum version of iOS 11 with the SDK 13.7. Now using the Vtool, we need to replace it with the LC build version. The build version is specified as the platform, the minimum iOS version, and SDK. The platform is number 7, which basically means that this is a platform iOS simulator. Now let's run this and let's see what's inside. As you can see, we have the LC build version. It's set for the platform is set to the iOS simulator. We have the minimum version and the SDK. This is of course set to the ARM architecture. Now we need to do the same and check for the x86. We have the same LC version. Now let's replace this the same as we did for the ARM64. Let's check this once again, and we have the iOS simulator with the LC build. Okay, so the both architectures are set and ready to go with the GoogleMaps framework. Now we need to do the same for the base and the core frameworks, because as you can see, we have the GoogleMaps framework and those additional frameworks like GoogleMaps base and the GoogleMaps core. Of course, I'm a lazy developer, so I create a simple script. It will do everything that we just did. We just need to pass a name of the framework. So the script is basically doing what we just did, setting the build version. We are using the parameter to set it to framework. We are doing this for the ARM64 and also for the x86. Let's save it. And do the same for the other Google frameworks, which is the base. It's alright, we have the LC build version for both architectures, and let's do the same for the last framework. Now let's open the Xcode and build it for the iOS simulator. Let's switch it to iPhone 12, which is the iOS 14.5. And this is the ARM64, native on the M1 Apple Silicon. As you can see, it has been loaded. Unfortunately, it is extremely slow, so testing your app using the Google Maps on simulator will be kind of pointless, but you probably won't want to run your app on the device anyway to do this. But for me, it was just another missing dependency to run it on the iOS simulator. There is a caveat. Unfortunately, not all of the frameworks will work. There may be not enough space for editing. You need to check this using the Vtool with the show space command. It will show the available space here. If there is not enough space in the framework, it will not work. Unfortunately, there's like the second caveat, which is the code signing. For me, it was not the case and everything works as expected, but if you will encounter this issue and you will see this one, like the library not loaded, you may want to try and use the code sign. I hope that this video will help you with any binary dependencies that you may have in your project. Once again, special thanks to Bogo for writing this article and helping me with the static frameworks. In the next video, I will show you how to handle static frameworks which are a little more complicated.